All right. Let's see if anybody's on here yet. I need to get to a different screen here. I haven't done a live stream. It's been 2 years since I've done a live stream. So, like, getting used to this again, new cameras, new software, everything. All right. Um, I can't even see how many people are on the thing. So, let me open up something different here. Okay, now I can see it says 18 people watching. Oh, I see it now. Yeah, see, YouTube has changed for me how it looks at my end. It looks different than when I used to do this. So, and, thank you those of you who are joining so far. I really appreciate that. So we've got a chat here on the you get like a chat thing that you can ask questions. And then if you have like a question that you think is really important, and I'm not saying you have to donate, but there is a way donate to the channel through there. I think it's called Super Chat, and I'll try to prioritize those questions because when I've done these before, it's been hard for me to keep up with everything. Yeah, a bunch of people joining. That's great. How is my audio? Is my audio good? I'm using a good microphone and everything. It should be okay. Somebody let me know about that if it's loud enough. It says the audio is cutting in and out. Okay, I'm gonna try turning off this microphone, and we'll use the microphone built into this camera. So let me try that. All right. I turned off this mic and now I'm using the built-in mic. Is that better? Let me know if this audio is better. It sounds better? Okay. Yeah, I had heard that using this microphone on the live stream had issues with some people, so, I don't know, it's too bad. Yeah, there's gonna be an echo now because I'm using the camera microphone doesn't control the echo as good as, like, these mics, so I'll try to bring the camera closer. And sorry if I don't always look in the camera because my computer screen is, like, over here, and then the camera's here, so it's kinda difficult. Thank you all for being here and for, yeah, thank you guys. I'm really happy with the 400,000 subscriber thing. I would definitely wanna go for the 500,000. I think we can hit 500,000, um, probably sometime next year, sometime in 2026, I think we can hit 500,000, just kinda depends on how things go. Is the audio doing better now? Let me know if you have any more audio issues, 'cause that's so video or live stream where they have audio issues, it's so annoying, and I don't wanna be that person, so thank you guys for the congratulations, I really appreciate that. I'm trying to see if there's, questions, yeah, so, well, let me start out with this, if you these live streams, I wanna depending on how this stream goes, I'm doing these once a month, and what I'll do is the timing is really good. My audience is around the entire world, it's not just in one country. This time is a good time when a lot of people around the world and most people around the world are kind of during, like, the normal waking hours. If I do it in the evening here in the US, the rest of the world is, like, asleep, so it's not that great, but I'll probably switch off, so I'll do 1 month live stream at, like, evening in the US so that my US people who are working, can do that, and then I'll do the set and then every other month I'll switch off to doing it, like, in the morning my times like this so that other people in the world can do it. So we'll try to see how that goes. I got a question about the Tenere World Raid. So there's a lot of bikes we don't get here in the United States. We don't get any other versions of the 10 700. So I wish we did, but we don't get anything like that. I would love to review those, but we don't get it. Audio, someone's saying audio is still terrible. Okay, I've gone back to this microphone. Can you guys let me know if this is any better? If this doesn't work, I may have to switch to a different camera. Some people are saying this is better. Still not. Disable your noise canceling and echo canceling on your mic. Okay, I'm gonna try changing some settings here. Okay, I turned off the noise canceling on this microphone. Let me know if this is any better, please. I'm so sorry about this. I did test this yesterday, and it seemed to be working fine, but is this audio any better now? Let me know. Looks like we've got 76 people tuned into the stream. Still not good audio? Hmm. Okay, let me play with the settings a little bit more. Okay, you got audio check again. I'm so sorry about this. Okay, I know we're having audio issues, but just let me know how it's going. I want to start answering the questions because we're already 5 minutes. Oh yeah, Theo, I just answered your question on that video about the 700 or the gas 700. I think the 700 gas was so much lighter weight that that would be my preference for the Rockies for riding up there. It's just like 100 pounds less weight makes a huge difference. Okay, well, if we have more audio problems, just let me know. But I'm gonna start answering questions here. Try to go back to the top and see what kind of questions we've got. And again, I reiterate, thank you to all of you for helping get this channel to where it is. I really appreciate each and every one of you. This community is really great. I have the best audience. I'm really grateful for that. So thank you for that. All right, I'm just looking through the questions here. Sorry about that. I have a big bunch of questions that I still haven't make sure I don't want to miss you guys out because the whole point of this was to answer your questions. Would the 800 GS have been better if it wasn't the low suspension? Yeah, it would. That low suspension version of that bike, it just makes the ride really choppy because it really cuts out your suspension. It would be, but I wanted to show a bike that was really friendly for shorter riders. So many people are not super tall and they want to ride an adventure bike, and that bike was really good. What's the best adventure bike? There it depends on what you're doing. There's seriously no answer. Some people like fairway bikes off-road, some people are touring with their bikes and they want a bike, and the country's different in terms of the roads. It's just impossible to answer. How's the audio doing now? I'm trying to talk in an even voice. I turned off the noise canceling, so I don't know what's going on. Yeah, I'm not sure what the not the microphone because I tried 2 different microphones already, and it's not that, so I'll have to play with this at another time, but I don't know how to fix it because I don't have a different if I turn this off, I'm gonna have to restart the stream. Yeah, it's a wireless microphone. But let me grab I think I have a different microphone. Hold on one sec. We're here to grab a different microphone real quick. Okay, I'm gonna try no, I'm not using yeah, I've got lotion and tissue. I told you I was gonna give you tips on moisturizers. Cetaphil, it's for your hands, come on, people. And then, I do have allergies. Actually, I seriously do have really bad allergies, so I always have to have clean let me try something. So now I switched to the microphone in this camera. Let me try using these mic minis. I've got this one. How's the audio with this microphone? Okay, we'll go with this for now. Go with this for now. People are saying the audio's better, so
That is an incomplete thought. Please provide more context.
okay, now my phone is going crazy. I've got these AI things installed, and it just sometimes um, I don't know. We're just gonna have to go with the audio. I'm gonna do another live stream in a few weeks at a different time to catch different time zones, and then I'll sort the audio out by then. I'm so sorry. Try it with your helmet on. Somebody said turn up the gain on the microphone. Okay. This is so frustrating to have these audio issues. I'm gonna go back to this one, but I'm gonna play with the settings again. Okay, I turned the gain way up and see if that helps. Anyway, I'm gonna talk for a minute and then you guys can let me know if the audio is any better. Are you gonna be buying the EW6? Oh, I think you meant to say new 690. I'm considering that. Yeah, actually, I really am considering that. The updated 2026 KTM 690 Enduro. Yeah, maybe. I actually don't know any German. I don't know even though my last name is German, I don't know noise canceling. Yeah, the noise canceling is turned off. Okay, well, I'll keep playing with the settings to try to make it better. Streaming issue. It's a streaming issue. People are saying I have really good internet, so I restart the stream. It may fix it. Uh, I think it's a streaming issue and not a microphone issue because I've this morning, so I don't. I think it's with the streaming. Multi-Strada Rally or 1300 GS Adventure. I would have to go Ducati. I think as much as I like the BMW for practical reasons, the Ducati, like that picture behind me on the wall, is when I was in Colorado. That was probably the best overall motorcycle that I've ever tested, I would say. Like, well, my favorite. I won't say best because but your preference. But my favorite motorcycle probably is that rally. I've thought about buying one. What did you do before being a YouTuber? So I worked in nonprofit management. So I was a development director and had different jobs in nonprofit management. So I did a lot of communications and marketing and fundraising and public relations for nonprofit organizations. Well, it was the same one for 15 years. So I had that career, and then I got into doing this. Yeah, I think it's a streaming issue. Is it better if I hold the mic like this? Is it better if I hold the microphone like this? I'm gonna turn the gain down to 0 and then just hold this microphone closer. Better? Some people are saying it's better, so I'll try this for now. Maybe it's the distance, it's like I don't know what it is, but this microphone works pretty well normally. No, good, yes, no. Seems to be helping. Yeah, it's a streaming issue, but I'm using YouTube's built-in streaming software, so I I don't know. I don't know what it is. Maybe there is an internet problem this morning. Some people asked about Zontes. We don't get that brand doesn't exist here in the United States, so I don't even know what that is. I mean, I've heard of it, but we don't get those. More T7 videos, yep, those are coming out. I'm filming those right now. I've got all the mods done to it. I've been out riding it, so those videos will come out, next probably 10 days or so. Some people say the audio okay, I'll just hold it closer. Restarting the stream. AOL canceled dial-up. Yeah. I remember dial-up. I'm old enough to remember dial-up internet. I had that. If you're really on a budget, what's the best used adventure motorcycle? Uh, see if you can get, like, something Honda or Yamaha, like, maybe a used, like, Honda 500 or I mean, you wanna go for an adventure bike, but the Africa Twins get pretty good in price sometimes. KLR 650 is yeah, I mean, there's smoother bikes, but the KLR is fine. TR 650, um, there's a lot of good ones out there. Used T7. Yeah, I mean, I what is budget though? Do you mean $2,500 or do you mean like $9,000? Budget means. If I could only ride one bike for the rest of my life, what would it be? I don't know. Yeah, the GS comes to mind, maybe a 1300 GS, maybe KTM 890 Adventure Rally because of the suspension. Um, Multistrada comes to mind. So it's gonna be like a bigger adventure bike for me if I just had one. Yeah, Cove 450 versus KTM 390 Adventure R. Uh, let me let me do something really quick here. Okay, I don't know if that was the problem, but I changed something on the computer. Yeah, there's not any settings I can change really. I need to get like streaming software. I don't know. Cove versus KTM 390 Adventure R. The Cove is more of the off-road choice. More suspension capability, not as good on the highway. The KTM's more like a 50-50 adventure bike where it's pretty good on the road, pretty good off-road. KTM's a little heavier. The Cove is taller with the seat height, way taller. They're both pretty good. So it depends on what you're looking to do. The off-road focus, I would probably go for the Cove. Dealerships are also really limited with the Cove. So I don't know, like, where's a Cove dealer if you're on a trip and you need parts? I mean, KTM dealers are pretty much all around the world now, but I think Cove is a challenge with that. The Versus 300, I've been trying to get the Versus 300 for years, and I just have not been able to. Kawasaki doesn't have, never has them in the press fleets. I've just never found one. I mean, I guess I'll just have to try to buy one to review it. I don't know, but it seemed like it's really high revving, like a tiny motor that you have to like rev really high. I don't know if people would like that. People are saying the audio is better. That's good.
The Cove 800X, I I don't know. I need more time with that. I wasn't too impressed when I rode it the first time. It just seemed like I'm not sure. It seemed like a less refined KTM 790 Adventure, and I wasn't really sure. But yeah, I need more time with that. Yeah, and I do wish there was more dealers. And also now the other thing is that they I think they stopped importing them. The USA importer I think had to stop importing them because of the tariffs. So because the price would just be way too high. They're not. I know what I know is if you want to buy a Cove 800 Rally right now, you can't buy one. Is what I'm saying. The next Tenere 700 video will be next week. I think I'll be able to release that. So also on today, when I end the stream, I've got to drive to Los Angeles to pick up a 2025 Transalp because they updated it. I'm reviewing that, and I'm doing a shootout between the Transalp 2025, the Tenere 700 2025, and I also have a V-Storm 800 DE, a brand new one that they lent me. So I've got doing a shootout with the 3 Japanese mid-size bikes. That's going to be a big production for me to put together. So I'm doing that. Um, Okay, they're saying the audio is better. So I think it's an internet issue, guys. I think it's some sort of internet issue. But I always see this on live streams when people do these. I always see some sort of issue. So I guess it's commonplace. But I have really good internet, so I'm surprised. I've done a full review of the Pan America. I've done that. Um, and by the way, I think some people have donated. I appreciate that. I want to thank you if you've done that. I really appreciate that. Uh, the Transalp air filter is still under the fuel tank, which is kind of a bad design, but I don't think they're intending people to ride off-road that much. The sound is better. Maybe it was the setting on the computer that I changed. Lower the latency of the video. I don't know how to do that. Motaz Desert HT tires, they're terrible on the highway, but they're great off-road. I'm running the new Outback Race right now in the 390, and they're kind of similar to the Desert HT, but I actually think I like them better than the Desert HT. Desert HTs last a long time though. They're just scary on the highway though, I think. Do you still like the V-Strom 650? Yes. Oh, used adventure bike, that question that guy had about the best used adventure bike, I'd put the V-Strom 650 on that list for best used budget adventure bikes for sure. Fantic, we don't get Fantic as a brand. Actually, maybe that's not true. I think maybe we are getting Fantic now in the US, so I have to check on that. Pan America, I did a full review. Plasma airbag, the neck protection. Yeah, I would need to do homework on that because I've gotten questions about that. I use both the plasma airbag and the Tech Air Off-Road. The Tech Air Off-Road, I think, does have better neck stability, but I think the plasma does have some degree of that. And the plasma is so much easier to wear and cooler and lighter that, I mean, with the Tech Air Off-Road, I can't wear anything over it or it's just too hot. I have to wear it like just bare with just the airbag. It's just too hot and bulky. Um, Chain lubrication, I don't really lube chains. Because I live in a dry climate, it's not real wet or anything, so the rust isn't an issue. So I just clean them when I wash the bike with like some mild soap and water. I clean them, maybe WD-40, wipe it down with a rag. I don't put any lubricant on chains because it just attracts dirt and wears out the chain and the sprocket faster. So I find it to be a bad idea. But if you're having rust issues, then yeah, you may need that. And I'm talking about sealed O-ring chains, not the old-fashioned, open chains. Okay, trying to keep up here with the questions. I'm just going to try to hold the mic at the same level because it seems to be working. Enjoy your content. Keep up the good work. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. Africa Twin Adventure Sports DCT is one bike for life. Yeah, I could go with that. I could go with an Africa Twin, one bike for life. The Africa Twin does everything really well, and it's reliable, and it's well made, and it looks amazing, and it's good off road. It's good on the road. The Africa Twin is like, yeah, that's a bike for life. I totally agree with that. Considered riding around the world. Honestly, it has no appeal to me. I mean, just being honest, like I'm in such respect for what people like Itchy Boots and others do with the travel they do around the world, but that is not for me. Like I'm just not interested in doing that. I like to travel internationally with my family, my wife and kid, and we like to go places, but not on a motorcycle. Carlsbad climb, Carlsbad versus Revit Sand 5, 3 season riding. Probably the Revit, the sand, because the venting and just it wears cooler, I think, with the vents. The Carlsbad, even with the vents open, can be kind of hot in the warmer weather. Although in the winter, I like the Gore-Tex. I do like that. But the Revit stuff, the Alpenstars Bogota Pro is a great 4 season jacket. The Sand 5 from Revit is a great 4 season jacket. Let me grab some coffee here. This guy says, I want to replace my daily V-Strom 650 with a 900 GSA Africa Twin, NT 1100, or Versus 1000. I'm going to tell you Africa Twin. Like, when I see that on the list, that's the one. The Africa Twin is the best of the bikes that you mentioned, I think, for an all-in-one bike that you can keep for a long time. Tusk 2-track tires, okay on highway? Yes. They can wobble a little bit if you get like one of those lines, like a cracks on the freeway. You can feel a little wobble. They get better as they're broken in. So I run the front 2-track. But I don't like running the rear 2-track tire. The only reason is because it's too stiff. If I have to change that tire on the trail to fix a flat, it's almost too stiff that I can't work on it. So I don't run the rear one, but I do run the front one. For the rear, I like the Motos Rousey. That's the best. Are 1250 GSs reliable bikes? In my opinion, yes. After all my experience with them, but opinions vary. But I've found them to be very reliable. How much did the GSA go for? I don't know what you mean. That was a loaner bike. If you're asking, the MSRP on that bike was, I think I covered the pricing in the video, but it was probably around high 20s or something like that. But that wasn't, the bikes I review are not mine for the most part. The only bikes I own are the Tenere right now and the KTM 390 Adventure. I only own 2 bikes right now. I sold everything else, and then I just buy bikes that I think need to be reviewed if that's the case, if I can't get a loaner bike. Arby's. Yeah, I know. I'm gonna need some Arby's after this. I'm gonna go for some beef and cheddar. Uh, how did you make the transition from policy guru to moto vlogger, and what prompted it? Just personal motivations. I want to do something different, work for myself, have a more flexible schedule, more time with my family. And I built it. I built it for years. This business for years on the side before I switched to full time, and that's what you have to do. Um, uh, but yeah, I wanted to do something I was more passionate about and get out of the 9 to 5. And now I work 24/7, but that's fine because I work for myself and I do something I like. Um, okay, it's hard to keep up with the questions. Yeah, I think a lot of people on here are not from the U.S., which is awesome. But I'm going to have to do the next live stream in the evening U.S. time so that more U.S. viewers can tune in. So I'll switch back and forth. If you could ride only one Harley the rest of your life, don't ask me about that. I mean, there would be a Pan America, but I wouldn't choose a Harley. I riding bicycles. Yeah, I would choose the bicycles. I love riding bicycles. Love it. I don't know if I can get the camera to show this, but like, I keep my 2 bicycles. These are my babies right here. I have a Specialized Turbo Levo, the 4th generation. That's really fancy, really nice. And I have a Trek Damane. So I keep them there, so it keeps me motivated to go for a ride after work, because I love getting on my bicycles. I love mountain biking. I love road biking. Huge thing in my life, just as much as I like motorcycles. So the ECU remap. Can the 390 handle rider, passenger, and saddlebags with the ECU remap? I will test that. I will find out. I've got to put the fuel tuner on in the next few days. It's sitting there. I did fix the kickstand thing. I just put a magnet on it to fix it, and now it doesn't have a problem. But I'll test the fuel tuner and see how much more power we get. I mean, the bike will go like almost 100 miles an hour. It just has some vibration to it. 390 Adventure R falling apart, needs a lot of Loctite. Yeah, the 390s vibrate a lot, so the bolts kind of come loose, and you have to check that a lot and get Loctite. It's kind of like owning a KLR 650 or something. Did I sell the 24 1250 GS Adventure? Yes, I did. A very happy person in Texas bought that, and he picked it up and rode the entire Northern California BDR as soon as he picked it up. So I was very happy that he got that. All right, let's see. Ibex 450, KTM. Well, there is no KTM 450 Adventure. I don't know what people keep talking about that. There's a 390 Adventure. The Himalayan 450. I mean, the I like the Ibex and the 390 and the Himalayan. They're all good. Like I don't know. I think if you're traveling around the world, you'd have to look at parts availability and dealer network and what bike fits you better. I mean, the Ibex has the smoothest motor. Like the twin cylinder is way smoother than the KTM or the Himalayan, but it feels a little bit more like a street bike, I guess. I It's a tough one. The Himalayan's good. A lot of people choose those for around the world travel. Do we know where the new 450 GS is sourced and made? Is it a rebadged? It's not a rebadge. No, the BMW 450 GS will be BMW's own design. It'll probably be made by their Indian partner. Is it Bajaj or is it some other Indian motorcycle maker? But just like KTM does with the 390s, KTM doesn't make them. They design them and then have them made by their partners and Bajaj and others. And I think BMW would probably do the same. And I expect the 450 GS to be a budget kind of entry level bike and not this high performance thing that people are hoping. But I know that sounds negative, but I'm telling you, I know how BMW thinks. I just don't think they're going to make it very good. And actually, well, I don't, how do I share? It doesn't give me a way to share screen. Oh, actually it does. Let me share the screen here. I want to show you this real quick. So if you can see my screen, this is the 450 GS design images that just came out. Cycle just posted this story a couple days ago. See, if you look at that, I don't think that's some hardcore off-road bike. If that's, whoops, if that's, gosh, there's so many pop-ups on the internet these days, drives you crazy. If that's what it is, see, that was the concept, this blue one, but that's a concept. That's not reality. The reality is going to, I think, looks more like this, and I don't think that's what people are hoping for. So anyway, did I end the, okay. You couldn't see the screen share. Okay, so I don't know. Let me try it again. Can you see it now? Okay, I don't know. All right, can you see me now? Oh, now it did work. Okay. Well, anyway, I'll make a video about it, but I don't think I get, okay, I'll try it again. Share screen, BMW 450 GS, share audio, no. Okay, so if you can see this, I can't see my chat when this is up. So it's like, it's so difficult. I'm not an expert at this live streaming stuff, but this is what Cycle World has just posted this article with the design images of this bike. So this is credit to Cycle World. If you can see this, it doesn't look like what you guys were hoping for. Like that's the concept, that blue and white one. And then this is the, I think what it's actually going to look like, which is like cast wheels, low suspension travel, limited ground clearance. I mean, we have to get the real specs, but I don't think it's going to be the hardcore off-roader that you guys were hoping for. Okay, well, I'm back to, can you guys see me again now? I turned off the screen share. I guess you could see the 450 for a minute. Am I back on the screen now? I hope so. Let's see. Okay, you can see me. Okay. I've got to work on this. I will work on this live stream stuff before the next one next month, and I will get like a software and I'll test it and it will get better. So I apologize. Did you figure out what the clicking noise was on the 390? I've got to go figure that out. I think it's actually to do with the skid plate, something to do with the skid plate bracket or something, is because it's when I put the skid plate on, the Black Dog skid plate, that I heard that noise. So I'm going to go check, but I think it could be that, because that would make the most sense. But they are known for having things come loose because of all the vibration. KLR versus 390R. The 390, like, no, hands down. I mean, it's so much lighter and faster and more technology. Suspension's better. Like, it just feels like a whole different generation of bike versus the KLR. 450 BMW have a 19-inch front wheel. Yeah, that's probably right. Because think about, if you're BMW, you want, like, look, you've got the 1300 GS, you've got the 900 GS, the 800 GS, and then then they're going to go down the 450. They're not going to make the 450 so good that nobody buys a 900 GS anymore. They're not going to do that. So they'll make it kind of a more of a beginner kind of budget kind of thing, in my opinion. Now, I could be wrong, but could the 390 Adventure be near the performance of the 350 EXC engine? I mean, it already is, actually. The 390 single makes like 44 horsepower, and a 350 EXC makes around that. Of course, that bike is lighter, but I think they're kind of similar with the power output already, actually. But the 390 is heavier because it's an adventure bike. Least vibration of any bike I've ridden, Goldwing, maybe a K1600 BMW. The V-Strom 1050 is also really good. So, how long does it take you to make a review? A long time. I mean, I have to arrange for the bike. I have to go pick it up. I have to ride it, test it, then do all the filming, then do all the editing and cataloging the footage, then get the video published and do all the links and promote it and do all that. So it could be like, it's a lot, many, many days of work to do a bike review. That's why I've said before that I kind of like lose money, quote unquote, doing a bike review, which is actually true if you look at it, how much time is invested. But I make it up in other ways. But the bike reviews are sort of a lost leader. It's like the Costco hot dog. Like, you got to have it, but it takes so much time that it's not profitable. But that's why people watch, and I got to do it. Okay, trying to catch up. There's a lot of chats, a lot of questions here. I kind of talked about this earlier in the stream, starting out as a YouTuber. It was just kind of a hobby for a little bit, and I wanted to share some information about some bikes that I had, and I had my normal career. I didn't want to do this as a living. I didn't even know you could. And then after a few videos, I was able to get monetized, make a few extra dollars. And then I made a few more videos to see what would happen. It went well. And then I saw how you could scale it into a business. And I was kind of burnt out on my old career after 15 years of working in an office, and so I decided to scale this up and do this. But it's work. When you do it like I'm doing, it's definitely work. Like, it's good work, it's fun, you like it, but it's definitely work. This person says, I admit that I don't want to go off road, but I like adventure bikes because they're great touring bikes. I totally hear you, and I totally agree with you. And I think a lot of people are going that way. This other person said that Max said that he had a ringing, clicking noise on his 390 when he added the Black Dog skid plate. So yeah, I think it's something to do with the mounts or something for that. Are you going to be expanding your family? No, I don't think so. One kid is good for us for a lot of personal reasons, but and we had our kid. Was I doing YouTube? No, I was doing YouTube part-time when we had our daughter. And then that's one of the reasons I started to do this for a job, because I could stay home more with my daughter. That's one of the motivations for it. People aren't complaining about the audio anymore, so I don't know what's different. This person says they have an MT10, awesome bike. I've ridden that one on the track. Looking into getting longer travel, better comfort luggage, but still having good performance. What about a Tracer 900? If you like Yamaha, yeah, the KTM 1290 Super Adventure S, yes. Multistrada V4 Rally, yes. I would get that. Probably the Multistrada is the best, but you're going to spend some money on that. Other touring bikes that are high performance. Yeah, I mean, it would be Multistrada GS, Tiger 1200, KTM 1290, 1390. Bikes, beers. Thank you for the donation. I appreciate that. Um, Thoughts about motorcycle tire sealants. Prevents and repairs flat tires permanently, like Sahara Moto. I've seen one that's called Ride-On Tire Sealant. I've thought about trying that. I think I did use it once, but I didn't have that bike too long. It makes a mess inside the tire when you have to go change it. It can make a mess like with the valve stem and stuff, but it can work. Some people like it because it kind of balances it and then it will seal small punctures. But I don't know. I kind of want to know if I have a puncture, but with a sealant, it's supposed to seal it. I mean, on my bicycles, I have that kind of stuff in there and it just seals small thorns and punctures you get in a bicycle tire and it's great. But I don't know how it works on a motorcycle. I would need to do some more research on that. I haven't tested it really myself. But when I've taken apart like a tube that had slime in it or a bike that had slime in it, it's kind of a mess to deal with. Is it hard to remain unbiased while being monetary? Are you ever encouraged for a positive review? It is hard to be unbiased. It's a constant challenge that you have, and you have to live with that. It's tough. Sponsorships and things like that. I try to get sponsorships from stuff that's not related to like motorcycles themselves, because then you couldn't review it, obviously. But if I get a camera sponsor, like right now, I have a sponsorship with Insta360, so I am biased about cameras, but you're not really coming to my channel to review for camera reviews, so it's kind of okay because it doesn't affect the bike reviews. So I try to look at it that way. But yeah, it's hard to remain. They don't ever, the motorcycle companies do not pressure us to say certain things in the reviews or give positive reviews because again, they're used to working with journalists and you're going to say what you want. I mean, if you say something crazy negative and create just out of line, then they're probably just going to stop giving you loaner bikes. So and that would suck. Thank you, Nasty Nate, for the donation. I appreciate that. What do you recommend as a first adventure bike? KTM 390 Adventure R or Ibex 450? First bike ever. Either of them could be good for your first motorcycle or your first adventure bike, assuming you're not too short, because these bikes are a little bit taller than like a Honda Rebel or something like that. And then the KTM is more off-road friendly because it's lighter. The Ibex is more highway friendly because it's a smoother twin cylinder motor and it feels better on the highway. So that's the main difference between the two. The Ibex, I think, is a little better value for money in terms of everything you get and a little more comfortable. The Ibex is pretty darn good, but the KTM is lighter and off-road, it's a little more capable. Thanks for the donation. I appreciate it. Are the Trail Max Mission okay at 85 miles an hour? Yes, they are. The Dunlop tires in general do very well. The Trail Max Raids also do really well on the highway at high speeds. I really like Dunlops. They're very good. Do you review any non-street legal bikes? I've kind of had a rule that I haven't done that because it's so hard for me to test them. I have to take them somewhere in a trailer to an off-road park and then ride them around in a small area. And the desert, we have the desert off-road areas where I live, but they're only rideable in the winter. In the summer, it's 120 degrees, so you can't go out there. So I've just not done that, but I've considered adding that in. Also, I try to look at what people are really interested in. Adventure bikes have been a big trend lately, so you have to kind of ride the trends when you're a YouTuber. Where's the where's the Arby's affiliate link? Yeah, if you buy a beef and cheddar at Arby's, I get like a 50-cent affiliate. So I should get that started. I think that could be a really big deal on the channel. But I am associate general regional assistant manager of Arby's. So this person says, if they've been riding GSAs, multi-strada rallies, but never did any off-roading, would you recommend getting a CF450 or something similar? I just want to gain confidence on gravelly, sandy. Yeah, so you need to get a smaller, lighter bike. If you're riding a GS 1200 or a multi-strada, whatever, it's too heavy to learn off-road. You need to get a dual sport. Get like a Honda CRF 250 or 300 or KLX 300 or even a KTM 390, I guess would do it. Get something small and light, like under 400 pounds, and learn to ride off road with that. As a new rider, I'm confused between the Honda NX500 and the Transalp 750. Does the NX500 have sufficient power on the highway? Yes, it does. The NX500 will do about 95 miles an hour. I've verified that. The Transalp is a lot nicer. I would get the Transalp if your budget allows. It's not much heavier, and it's a nicer bike to ride. But if you're on a budget, the NX500 is great. Not much weight difference between the two. 890 versus 390 off-road and on-road. Okay, good question, Tyler. The 890 fun factors off the chart with the 890. So much power, right? The 390 is more confidence-inspiring off-road because it's 100 pounds or about 45 kilograms lighter. Way better off-road. I go into situations with the 390. I wouldn't take the 890 by myself because of the weight. So the 890 in general is more fun, but the 390 will get you to more places because it's smaller and lighter. So I hope that makes sense. It's a trade-off there. Did I review the M1000 XR? Yes, and I love that bike. I do have a full review on that. Shampoo or conditioner first? I thought you're supposed to do shampoo first, because if you do the conditioner first, won't the shampoo dry out your hair? Like, I think you need the shampoo and then the conditioner. And I guess there's like a cream rinse, but I don't know. The Thank you guys for having a sense of humor. I appreciate that. A shootout review of the Himalayan 450, Ibex 450, and the KTM 390. You know, I would love to do it. I'll try to do it, but it's tough. I'm doing the Transalp Tenere V-Strom shootout right now. Starting to film right now. The Rocky Mountain ATV, they have a YouTube channel. They did an amazing comparison video with the small adventure bikes. You should go check that out. They did a really good job with that. Thank you for the donation, B. Schonecker, kind of similar last name to mine. I have a 24 Touareg and wondering if you think it's worth upgrading the wheels from the new Rally if I mainly plan to do BDR riding. If you tend to bend your rims and damage rims, then yes. If you ride really fast, if you're not damaging rims at the speed you ride, then no, because you have tubeless right now. And if you get those upgraded wheels, they have tubes in them, and you may not like that. So you have to trade off the strength, but then you're getting tubes instead of tubeless. So yeah. Do I think the 900 GS is reliable to travel the world? I mean, I think so. The 850 engine was really reliable for a long time. The 900 is not too much different, so I think it would be pretty good. Is the KLE 500 real? Well, Kawasaki did tease that as a bike, so I think they will eventually have it. But we'll have to wait and see. But it's not just a fake made up bike. Oh, by the way, the Transalp 750 or 650 is made up. There's no not Transalp, Africa Twin. Africa Twin 750 or 650 is a made up motorcycle. It's just an AI generation. But all these people keep sending me questions about, well, am I going to review the Africa Twin 650? I'm like, dude, that's not real. It's an AI thing on YouTube. I don't know why that gets out there. Is made in China just a preconception nowadays? I mean, I think so, because if you look at the factory standards and the quality of the bikes, of like the CF Moto bikes, the newest ones coming out of China, they're really good, really good. Yeah, EICMA. I might go to EICMA this year, so we'll see. It's an expensive thing to fly over there. Thank you, Theo, for the donation. I appreciate that. When will Indian make an adventure bike? Yeah, I doubt it. I mean, I don't know how successful Harley was with the Pan America. It seems like they didn't sell as many of them as they hoped. I think they need to make smaller bikes. You know, the Pan America is 600 pounds. Love to see more cameo from my daughter. Yeah, I've been trying to work more of that in because I think that makes the channel more fun. By the way, has the audio been better? I think I haven't heard any more complaints, so I guess it's better. I don't know what was wrong with it earlier. Let's see. S1000X. Okay, traded a V-Strom 800 DE for S1000 XR. Okay, yeah, the totally different setup with the wheels and tires. So the street bikes with the big wide street tires and the smaller wheels, they take more effort to get through the corners, but they have more grip. You have to like go to like a track school or a track day if you can, or get some training because the body position and the way you ride like a street bike with high performance wheels and tires is quite a bit different feeling than that quick turn in you had like on your V-Strom 800. But you have a lot more grip available. Also, you can hang out, lean off the bike more. Audio is fine. Okay, good. GMAX says this Chinese HVAC is great. So there you go. Bad microphone connection. I don't know. Do you think Aprilia will announce the 457 adventure bike at EICMA? Yeah, it seems like that might happen, but I'm a little bit. I just wonder about them releasing a Touareg 450 when they have such a good bike in the Touareg 660 already. I just don't know. That's a like, is it going to be more of a beginner focused bike and not very good performance? Because again, they don't think about how these companies think in their meetings. They don't want to cannibalize the sales of their profit of their bikes with higher profit margin. Let's see. Trying to keep up with the questions. There's not a ton of people on the stream, so I do think the timing. Like I'll have to I'll do a live stream in early September, and I'll do it when in the U.S. when people are off work in the evening. I know it won't be as good for Europe and Asia and India and all that, but we'll try it and see. But the way that I picked the time for this stream was AI told me this was the best time based on my viewers, because only 40% of my viewers are in the United States, believe it or not. Now it's my biggest single group, and I guess that's true, it's the biggest single group, but 60% of my viewers are outside the US. So I try to keep in mind time zones. But I'll do the next one more for the US audience. Yeah, I think you're right, GeoMac. I think it's something with this wireless microphone. I'll switch to a wired microphone for the next one. How does the image quality look though? It should look good with this camera. It's the wired connector. Hmm. Well, this is total. This connects wirelessly into the DJI camera. There's no receiver. Maybe that's the problem. Oh, I don't know. I gotta play with it. I have some other options, but maybe I'll just use a wired microphone next time. Is a DR650 with Dunlop Trail Max Raids the ultimate 50/50 machine? I wouldn't say ultimate, but I think ultimate budget 50/50 machine. Yeah, probably pretty good. I just find the DR650 to be super old fashioned in every way. It just feels like going back in time. I guess some people like that, but it just feels very out of date to me. Okay, video's great. Okay, thank you. I'm from Canada. I like watching you in winter when my bike freezes to death. Yeah, I know. I live in the mountains, but I'm in Southern California, so it's not really like true mountains. We do get snow in the winter, but it melts within a day or two, so it's pretty much year-round riding. But I do live at 5,000 feet, pretty high elevation. I will go watch the stream afterwards and see what the audio sounds like, but I'm not going to use this mic anymore. Yeah, we don't know anything about Vogue or VOGE, however you say that brand. We don't get those here at all in the United States, which is unfortunate because they seem to be really popular in Europe. The V85 TT, I really like it. I'm trying to I did test it. I do have a short video on it. I'm trying to get one as a loaner bike, but I don't think they have any. I did ask. I think I am getting a Stelvio. It's either the Stelvio or the V85 that I'm getting a loaner bike to do an in-depth review. I forget which one it is. And then but my big priority is the Touareg Rally. So I'm getting a Touareg Rally as a press bike to review. So I'll be doing that. I don't think I'm going to buy one though, because I've kind of already done so much content with the Touareg. I don't really want to buy another one, although I love riding it. Aftermarket support for the Himalayan. I think it's a lot of stuff from India, right? So you kind of have to shop on like overseas websites to get the aftermarket for the Royal Enfield stuff. But it is out there. Ibex 450, KTM 390 Adventure R for a beginner off-roader. The KTM, it's a lot lighter. Like that 50-pound weight difference or 20-kilogram weight difference means a lot. It makes a lot of difference versus the Ibex. Big Bear, yeah, I want to spend more time in Big Bear doing all the trails there. I love the trails there. A lot of them just got closed because of the fire. We're in fire season, but I want to get some sort of a little camper or something so I can go and spend a couple days in Big Bear during the week, review bikes up there on those trails because there's a lot more variety of terrain, and then come home. By the way, I kind of want to get a truck camper, get a heavy duty truck and then put like a Lance truck camper on it. If any of you have that, do you like that? Do you like that setup? Dork in the Road, Ben got one and he really likes it. I'm just looking at that as an option. Also, if you have a camper van, do you like that? Because that's another option I'm thinking about, but they're very expensive for what they are. I don't know this moto blocker, Baker X Derek. I've never heard of it. Yeah, the live stream is a good idea. I'm going to do this every month, and once I fix the audio issues. Sorry, I'm so sorry about that. But I'll switch time zones as well, like every other month, so that different countries can get in on it. Do I like the 1300 GS or 1300 GSA for the type of riding? The standard one. I really prefer the standard GS. I can live with less fuel range and a little bit less wind coverage. Although on the 1300, it's so good already. The standard one looks way better to me. It's lighter, it's smaller, it's narrower. I would totally standard GS. And in fact, man, I really want my 1300 GS back. I really miss that bike. One of the best bikes I've ever tested. Amazing motorcycle. I really like to have one, but I don't have time to ride it because I got to test other bikes that I get for review. New ADV bikes from Japanese brands. I mean, I doubt it because they take forever to develop anything, and they're just so conservative. And you got to think like Suzuki's not even a motorcycle company, really. They're like a marine and industrial company. So they don't do a ton of effort. I was even surprised we got the 800 V-Strom, which is a really good bike, but they just don't put a ton into their stuff. Oh, hey, Jonathan, thanks for being here. Dr. J. Truck with Lance camper, great, easy to pull, dirt bike trailer. Yeah, that's what I was thinking because I love my motorcycle trailer. I've got adjustable chalk positions, adjustable tie downs that I can fit 3 bikes on there, 3 adventure bikes. And I like using that to haul the bikes, but I want a camper. So yeah, I think that's the way I'm looking at going, but it's kind of an expensive investment, Jonathan, to get a nice newer late model diesel truck and a Lance camper. I mean, that's a crazy amount of money. But I do like it. That's just trying to justify it. Geomax says, I'd go all-wheel drive toy hauler van with basic camping provisions. Yeah, that's an option there. Camino Cielo. I think I've ridden that. Camino Cielo. I think I've ridden that. And what's that road that goes up along the ridge, like above Santa Barbara? It's amazing views up there, and it's like a twisty, like paved road. It's like kind of one lane. I don't know, but I've ridden all that stuff. Yes, I do have a list of upcoming projects, and I try to have a workflow kind of management. Sometimes I get, a month or 2 ahead on videos, and sometimes I'm just like producing and publishing that same week. It depends on what content that it is, but there's projects that kind of fall behind because they're not as high priority that are still kind of out there, but I haven't finished them yet. And then Gibraltar Road. Yeah, that's the one. Gibraltar Road. Yeah, up there and all those. Yeah, that's really cool. Let's see. I've had a fifth wheel RV truck and sliding camper and camper van. The van is my favorite. Okay, that's good to know. Do you think the MT450 is worth it? Yeah, the Ibex or the MT450 is awesome for the money. I have no hesitation about recommending that bike. I mean, it doesn't have any real flaws. It's just great. I really like that motorcycle. Highway 154, maybe that. Yeah. What is the best buy? Ducati Desert X 14,900 or Desert X Rally? I don't really think that the Rally's worth it, to be honest. Like the suspension on the Rally, I don't think is that great. It's not like the KTM rally suspension on the 890 at all. So I don't think it's worth an extra $4,000. I would just get the regular Desert X suspensions are already pretty good. I would save the money, just being brutally honest with you. Is the KTM 390 Adventure worth it? Yeah. I mean, it's $7,000, and look at what you get for $7,000. You can't touch that. I mean, it's really good value. Do I like the V-Strom 800DE or the Tenere 700? Uh, there's I'm doing the comparison video now with the V-Strom, the Transalp, and the Tenere. The V-Strom, I like it. The only thing I don't like on the V-Strom that kind of stands out is the engine heat is really bad. Like, it really makes me feel hot when I'm riding it, and that's kind of a deal breaker for me. But other than that, it's a good bike. The suspension's soft. It's heavier, but it doesn't feel as top heavy as the Tenere. The only thing I don't like about the Tenere is it feels top heavy. And it just really has bad top heaviness. And other than that, I love the new Tenere though. They're both great bikes. And don't overlook the Transalp either. The Transalp's also really good. T7 or Transalp. Yeah, I'm doing that comparison. I think that there's a lot of interest in that. The shootout between the V-Strom, Transalp, and Tenere, and that'll be coming out pretty soon. But the T7 is more off-road focused, and the Transalp is more highway focused. The Transalp is more fun. It has more power. It has a little bit zippier engine, has better wind protection, a little more comfort. And then the Tenere 700 is a better off-road bike because way better suspension. So that's the trade-off that you're making there. But they're both really good. Yeah, also the vibration on the Suzuki. There is some vibration at certain RPMs that I don't seem to have on the Transalp or the Tenere. So maybe the V-Strom engine is not quite as refined with the vibration. That's also true. But I don't know. A lot of people love their V-Stroms. Thank you for the donation, Kabore. Sorry about pronouncing your name. Thank you for that. I really appreciate it. Very, very nice of you to do that. Honda GB350. I don't even know. I'd have to look that up. I don't even know what that is. I'm so sorry. AJP. I like the AJP PR7 from what I've seen of it and watched the videos, but I haven't been able to ride one. I would love to test one though. Do we even have AJP dealers here in the United States? I don't even know. Maybe, but I would love to do one. Just put a deposit on a 2022 Africa Twin. Any advice for a new owner? Watch my video on the electronics and how to use all the electronics on that bike, because that's really important. And it's kind of confusing at first. And then just enjoy it. Don't do too many modifications on it until you've ridden it a while to see what you actually need, like in terms of windshields or seats or stuff like that. About hot legs and some issues. The Norden, yeah, the 901 and the 890, they also run really hot on your legs, and that's something I don't like about them. Yeah, if you're in Canada, you love the heat from the V-Strom. Yeah, I imagine. Where I live, it's usually hot. Like the past few weeks, it's been 100 degrees Fahrenheit every day with no clouds. And so I just can't wait for fall or winter. Let's see. My first bike was it was a Honda C70 Passport scooter. So kind of classic, kind of like a Honda Cub, basically. So that was kind of cool. What other hobbies would I get into if I had the time and money? I mean, I really like bicycles. I mentioned that earlier in the stream. I'm huge into mountain bikes and e-bikes and road bikes and everything bicycles. I spend a lot of time doing that in my spare time. I would like to do like more kayaking. I like kayaking a lot. Anything outdoors in nature, I like. Just hiking in the wilderness, to high mountains. I like that. Maybe backpacking. I like all that stuff. Thank you, Daniel, for the donation. I really appreciate that. Okay, got the Tiger 660. Yeah, a couple years back after watching your review, it's been perfect. Okay, awesome. That's great. I see that I'm glad that's a really cool bike, that Tiger 660 Sport. I see they have the 800 now, so I'm interested to review that and see what the changes that they made. I wish it had. I remember like I was wanting cruise control on that bike. I think would be good. AJP has an American website. Okay. Will the 19-inch front wheel of the F450 GS hinder it against the Ibex? Yeah, probably a little bit, I think. I'm not very hopeful about that 450 BMW, you guys. I'm sorry. I love BMW, you guys know that, but I'm not getting my hopes up on the 450 GS. I just don't want you guys to get too. I think a lot of people have too much hype about that. I think um a low costing full suspension EMTB. I mean, man, they're just expensive. Like you'd have to get a used one. That's the answer. So I sold my third gen specialized turbo Lebo for like 2,500 bucks, and the person was like super excited for that price, because that was like a $7,500 bike new, and when I sold it, it was worth like I probably could have got 3 grand for it, but I sold it for 2,500 to be nice to the guy, and he was super so I would get something like that. That's the only way because new ones are just way expensive. Um, the PR7 is a unicorn. Yeah, I've heard that. Um, what would be the perfect 450 lightweight adventure bike? The lightness, to me, none of them. I don't really like any of them, if I'm being brutally honest. Here's my problem with the 400s and the 450s. They just don't have enough like power to really keep me super interested. What I want is like I need around 55 to 60 horsepower. So you probably have to have like a 500 engine, better suspension, yeah, around 50 to 60 horsepower, under 400 pounds. And that would be it. That would be the unicorn. That would be the bike. But it truly does not exist. Because to me, like the 450s and the 390, that just lack some power for me personally. Brandon, yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. We'll make sure to bring you back, Brandon. Don't worry. We'll have Brandon back. You need to bring the 1300 GS back up here because we got to do some more GPS videos. All right, we got to get that going, and we got to review some parts. So actually, just give me my bike back. Come on. I really miss that bike, by the way. Glad you're enjoying it. Yeah, Jonathan Rosen. Electric mountain bikes are the best hobby in the world, I think. Like right up there with off-road motorcycles. Really, really good. Highly recommend it. No, I have not done the Stelvio Pass in Italy. I really want to. Um, we have some pretty cool pass roads in like Colorado, especially, but they're not quite the Alps. Africa Twin versus Desert X Ducati. I would go Africa Twin. I mean, less money. It works just as well. It's more reliable. The maintenance is less expensive. There's more Honda dealers. So just being honest, I'd go Honda on that. The Ducati is cool looking. It's a little faster, but overall, the Africa Twin is kind of like right there, especially the latest ones. Um, would I do a video building around the world DR650? Uh, I, I don't think I should because I'm just not that interested in the DR650, and I don't want to be negative in the video because people love that bike. So I think I should just stay away from it. I just don't love that bike as much as everyone else. If I had one that was all built up, and I just didn't really like it that much. Um, It's after midnight. Well, thank you for staying on till midnight. I appreciate it. Yeah, I think this time of this live stream works good for a lot of other countries, just not as good for people who are working here in the US. So we'll change this up. I'll do a live stream once a month, and I'll change the time zones every month so that we catch different audiences. So I apologize to the US people who are at work right now. And if you're watching it on replay, which you probably are not because we had all the audio issues, then thanks for tuning in. But 2:30 a.m. Yeah, where are you? Australia? I don't know. It's impossible to pick the right time for this because the I have so many different countries that watch and the time zones are crazy. This technically should be a good time because I catch the US, I catch Europe, I catch Asia India, but like Australia is tough. And then if I do it in the evening here where I live, like it after work, then Europe is asleep, Asia's asleep, India's asleep, Australia does like so it only gets the US, but thanks from down the mountain in Riverside. It's probably hot today down there, although it's cooling down. Which adventure motorcycle has the most cult-like following? I don't know. KLR always kind of had that. The DR 650 seems to have that. The DRZ 400 seems to have that. The Himalayan has a pretty big following. I don't know. There's quite a bit. I'm gonna grab a coffee here. The clunking sound on the KTM 390, I'm pretty sure it's the Black Dog skid plate because it only started after that. So I got to go check into that. I just rode the 390 last night at the end of the day for a couple hours and really finally got to really get aggressive with that off road because I fixed the kickstand thing. And man, that bike really rips. It's really good. Concourse ZG 1000. You know, it's fun to do the videos on the old bikes that I've had. I just don't think there's much audience for that. But I don't know. We could try it. But I'd have to. How would I get one, Brandon? I'd have to go like buy one or something. I don't want to borrow some people offer for me to borrow their bike, and I really appreciate that, but I'm really worried about damaging it because I like to drop them and ride them pretty fast, even though people say I ride slow, I guess, on the videos, but I actually do ride them pretty aggressive and bash them into rocks and stuff. I don't want to beat up your bike, you know? When people offer that, I would feel terrible. What motorcycle channels do I watch? What are my favorite? I mean, I try to spread it around a lot. Of course, I like, Ben is my friend Dork in the Road. I like to watch his stuff a lot. But I also know him in person. I like, from Europe, I like to watch like Missenden Flyer. I like to watch Moto Bob. I watch all the Fortnite videos because that's kind of a reference point. I like Mad TV, Motorcycle Adventure Dirt Bike TV. Dave Darcy, super nice guy. He's in Australia. I like to watch Chris Birch a lot. In fact, Chris Birch, I do his training videos online. I pay for that. They're incredible, by the way. That's a tip for you. If you want to become a better off-road rider, go onto the Say No to Slow Chris Birch website, and I'm not affiliated with it. Pay whatever the subscription is. It's the best money you'll ever spend. You learn so much from his videos. Chris Birch is an amazing instructor. There's a lot of good channels, though. A lot of good ones. Yeah, 17-hour time difference from Australia. That's crazy. If I could change 3 things about the T7, what would that be? Tubeless wheels, factory cruise control, less top heavy. I think that would be, I was going to say more power, but I could live without that. But yeah, tubeless would be good. Cruise control factory would be good. Although I've got Viridian Cruise on it, which I'll show in the video. Brandon actually put that on. Brandon's on the stream right now. And what else did I say? Less top heavy. I actually crashed the T7 the other day. I actually crashed the T7, which I rarely do on my tests. But it feels like it just wants to fall over more easily and just crash. Like when I don't know, I just have a hard time with it. I think if you're a really, really good rider, you really like the T7. But that's the misleading part about adventure bike videos is you see some like the Pol Torres, the paid advertising guys ride like a 10R700, but they're like a professional level rider and that bike's all customized. You go try to do that with a T7, you're going to die. Like, I'm sorry. Let's see what else here. Should you upgrade the suspension on your CB500X 2019 or buy the CF Moto? Okay, I'll give you my honest opinion. I would get the Ibex or the CF Moto because I don't like modifying stuff so extensively. I just feel like you go in a circle of chasing things that you can't quite get it balanced. I like to just buy the bike that works, that's set up the way I want it. So I would get the Ibex. It's already got the suspension, it's got the ground clearance, it's got the bigger wheels, it's got more stuff. I would just get the CF Moto. And it's more fun to ride. It's got a better engine, I think, than the Honda. Sounds better anyway. The Tiger, no, I need to do the review on the Tiger 900 GT, the road version. I haven't done that yet. And the 850 Sport and the 800 Sport. I'm really behind with Triumph videos. I'm really behind with the Triumph videos right now. They work with me. I just behind. Best beginner sports tour bike in your opinion? I mean, if they had the Tracer 7 Yamaha, I would say that. but they don't have that here in the USA. But if you can get that where you live, I would probably get that. Maybe a Tiger 660, the Tiger 660 Sport or 800 Sport, good kind of sport touring bike. The T7 and slow speeds technical stuff do not mix. Yeah, I kind of agree with that. But then why does everybody always show that in a big hype about how they ride their T7s through all this crazy stuff? Are they just the professional riders, or am I missing something? But yeah, I struggle with it. It just really feels heavy. I love the bike though. I do. I really enjoy it. You need to be physically large to throw it around. Yeah, that's probably true. The suspension upgrade. If you were going to go cross country trip and you can only take one, 390 Adventure R or Ibex 450. Because you said cross country trip, Ibex 450. It's more comfortable, adjustable windshield, smoother motor. Yeah, I would go with the Ibex. For riding around trails locally, I like the KTM better. It's lighter, it's zippier, it's better off road. But for traveling, the Ibex for sure. The you're asking about the older Africa Twin 750. I don't know. We never got those here in the US. They were never sold here. The 750 Africa Twins were never sold in the United States, so we don't have them. But what is it? Adam Ryman, he has great videos on that bike. That's another channel I like. I like his videos a lot. He's really good. I think sometimes YouTubers get sponsorships and they don't disclose them. Like I always disclose my sponsorships and very upfront with it. Some people don't do that, but anyway, that's just a comment. Yeah, used FJR 1300. The FJR 1300. I've owned that bike. It was very hot, like riding an oven. But if you're in a colder climate, it should be fine. And then it felt very heavy, but it was a great motor though, and a great motorcycle overall. Ton of power. I don't